Hi guys, it's album review time. We've got Alicate and Heaven Tonight. The band sent me this early, so I so appreciate that. Amazing stuff to send me something that's out, not out until April the 19th, so we've got over a month to go. I really can't say how much I appreciate that, and bands sending me stuff. It's just brilliant to hear new stuff before people is just mind-blowing, and you know, they want my insight into it. Thank you so much to the band. So April the 19th, Pride and Joy Music. This is coming out on 10 tracks. Bit of a background to this. Not much. I'm just going to give you a quick story about this band. So I'm hoping what I read is correct. They were formed in the late 80s, released a single, getting quite successful, had moderate success, and then broke up. Well, we all know what happened around just after the late 80s. They got back together in 2006, and this is their 5th full-length studio album. I hadn't heard of this band. So the last one was Butterfly, and that was released in 2022. 10 tracks on this album. And let me tell you, every track, 10 tracks of brilliant, I hope the band don't mind, 80s inspired melodic rock. There's no doubt about it. We're talking late 80s style melodic rock here. If you love that, scene, you will just, this is right in your wheelhouse. It really is. Let me run you through the guys in the band first. You've got Jonas Eriksson on the vocals and guitar. This guy's got a great vocal. He's not your sort of standard sort of Scandinavian type singer, but these guys are from Sweden. And you know, there's a lot of singers in melodic rock, melodic hard rock that sound quite similar, isn't there? Jonas is in a sort of ballpark on his own, got this really cool tone to his vocals. He's got this almost real cool grit to his vocals. I love his vocal style, and it really makes him stand out amongst a lot of singers these days, and that's a really cool thing to do. He's got his vocal performance across this, the vocal harmonies that are used. It's just beautiful vocal delivery. It really is. And of course, Jonas plays the guitar as well. I mean, multi-talented. I mean, if you've either got, you know, if you've got a good vocal, in my opinion, that's just a 10 out of 10. If you can play the guitar like he can as well, that's just amazing. So great guitar work across this album. This is melodic rock and AOR at its best. So, you know, beautiful layered guitars, solos. The keys are quite prevalent on this album. I'll get along to the brilliant keyboardist in a minute, but you know, guitars also play a big part. Obviously, this is melodic hard rock, melodic hard rock. So you know, the guitars are what it's about. Loads of solos, loads of really cool melodic guitar work, amazing stuff. So brilliant guitar work, brilliant vocals. I'm jealous. Not really. It's amazing to have people like this on the scene, you know what I mean, that can be that good and that talented. Fredrik Ekberg on the bass and Jesper Persson on the drums. Oh yeah, a really tight rhythm section, these guys. I'm not sure how long they've been in the band, whether they've been together since all these 5 albums, but the band sound really tight, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's about keeping it just tight, so a lot of the guitar work can breathe and the synth work can breathe, and you know, these guys are really great musicians. And then Glenn Lundqvist on the keys. Play a massive part on this album, synths. They really do. They're almost alongside the guitar. So you know, guitar I would say is a little bit more prevalent than the keys, but the synths are such an important part of this album to, you know, create that late 80s melodic rock feel. Brilliant stuff from Glenn Lundqvist. So big hooks, huge choruses, sort of muscular, gritty vocals. This really does. I mean, 10 tracks, I would say, you know, would fit perfectly as a movie or movie soundtrack music. You know, some of your favorite movies of the 80s probably, or some new series. You know, you get these series that are set in 80s. This music would fit perfectly. It's so catchy, uplifting at times. Some of the bands, you know, for fans of, I would say, there's some new and some older bands. So definitely like Whitesnake, you know, like 87 onwards, Whitesnake. Foreigner for sure, like late 80s Foreigner. Stan Bush and Barrage, you know, I can sort of hear early Stan Bush. Bad English, and also Heat, and maybe Europe and bands like that. So man, if you sort of meld those sort of things together, this is what you get. Really catchy melodic rock. Like I said, there's 10 tracks to talk about, and I loved every one of them. And usually sometimes what I do is I'll pick out my favorites. So that's how good this album is. I want to talk about every single track. You've got Are You Ready? Is track number 1. This is like the fastest song on the album. It's a fast-paced rocker that sort of gives me really Van Halen vibes for me. Very fast-paced, rocking. It sometimes has that sort of jammy vibe that maybe Hot for Teacher has or something like that. Fun, upbeat, and a great 3.5 minute rocking track to start off the album. Then Under the Gun is the next track. A cool riff, some 80s synth work and stomping bass line just set this song off. This is an excellent melodic rock track in the style of sort of late 80s Foreigner for me. It has a really cool vibe to it, almost like a late night drive through a city street. But if you hear this, you know what I mean. Such a cool track. Heaven Tonight is the next track I want to talk about. This was the single release. I did a reaction to this. Love this song. Those synths sort of bringing that 80s vibe perfectly to this excellent track. Busy guitar work that has a late 80s Whitesnake feel. I mentioned the Whitesnake vibes sort of running through this band a little bit. Super smooth backing vocals, just top off everything I love about melodic rock and AOR. Big Time is the next track. The band hit a sort of heavy blues vibe, this riff, right at the beginning, but that's just a tiny element of this track. An excellent melodic rock track that almost gives me sort of John Parr feels, and I think the vocals as well give me that throughout this album. Those backing vocals playing a huge part again, something that this style of music should always have. Ride the Storm is the first ballad of the album. God, this track, man. It would be huge, man, if you transported this back into the MTV era days, you know, when rock ruled the airwaves. This would be a hit. A bit of Coverdale flair in the vocals during the deeper tones as well. Some very nice synth touches throughout. Clean guitar through most of this track, keeping that sort of nice mellow feel throughout. Dreaming is the next track. What a song this is. I mean, it's song after song, it really is. Some cool riffing with sort of tinkering piano throughout. It's a standout, this one. It really is. But there are so many highlights on this album. You know, you could talk about every track, really. Those hot summer city street feels, again, are all over this track. It's a cool melodic solo, just tops off an excellent song. Dangerous is the next track, another outstanding song. Could be plucked out of a Rocky soundtrack. To tell you the truth, all these songs could be plucked out of some 80s soundtrack. It's brilliant. Slow to medium pace of this song just lets the guitar do some great riffing over this driving track. It's so fucking good. Hold On is the next track. This is sort of a ballad. Sort of. It's sort of on the edge. A ballad with teeth, as my mate Mark Clower would say. Reminds me of a Jolene Turner sort of rainbow track, Street of Dreams or something like that. Super smooth sounding, a great bass line with those synths running through the verses, and yet another huge chorus. Count to 10 is the 9th track. A faster paced track, this one. 80s synth work, sort of really high in the mix from the outset. Powerful vocal lines just delivered with passion, as they are throughout. These synths really pop nicely in this song, especially as the band really sort of cover their 80s influence quite proudly. Excellent rocking track. And then the last track is You're Gone, and this is another ballad, a proper ballad, and the album sadly comes to a close because you just want it to go on, but not before they deliver an absolute belter of an epic AOR song. Emotions run high, really high on this track. You know, you can really feel it, that Foreigner influence running high, I would say, as the track sort of builds and builds. I love the way the vocals sort of trade with guitar near the end of the track, and it comes to a close with just, you know, that beautiful vocal tone and piano just to end what is an excellent, outstanding album release. So guys, we've only had one single release so far, which was Heaven Tonight, the title track. That was brilliant, so you can check that out if you get an idea of what this bands sound like. April the 19th, Pride and Joy Music, 10 tracks of brilliance. Guys, let me know, all you melodic rock AOR fans would love this. Let me know if you're going to get it in the comments below, please, guys, and I'll see you soon.